Probably live from New York. It's Saturday morning. Yes, it is.
or the afternoon, depending on who you are.
It's for me anyway. If not for you, it's the Saturday morning Magic the Gathering arena stream with your friends, the Smug Buds, Will and
Yeah.
Liz. Hi, Liz. How are you?
Hi, Will. How are you? I'm good. As I told you earlier, I had a massage this morning. It was my Mother's Day massage.
Oh, very nice.
Um,
Happy belated
and
Mother's Day.
thank you. I did, in fact, give birth. That's not the only way to become a mother. It's just how I did it. And you know, am now still caring for that child, and that's pretty cool. And then
Yeah.
they give me presents sometimes, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah. Congratulations. Well
Did you
deserved.
did you see the card that Kenny got me?
Yes. The It Follows reference, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we never get each other real cards. We get each other whatever card and then edit them.
Mm-hmm.
But this was honestly pretty like extraordinary even for this genre,
Jean.
because it specifically was like you gave birth card,
Right.
and had little feet on it.
Yeah.
And I would have hated to receive this card in real life. Like, sincerely, I would have hated to
Yeah.
sincerely receive it. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's a funny bit. If it's a funny bit in almost any context to take something that sucks, that's supposed to be nice, and make it good with something completely different, like
Mhm.
the speech from It Follows.
Yeah. A movie I loved, by the way. I loved watching that movie.
Yeah, I saw it and I liked it too. I wouldn't go as far as loved, but that was a cool movie
I guess what I mean is, for the genre,
for the
I
genre.
love that movie. Yeah. Not like I want to watch it all the time, but for
Mm-hmm.
the genre,
For the genre, it's a good genre movie,
the genre.
a genre picture.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything else you want to discuss, or should I tell
Not
you?
not on the not on this
No,
stream.
not on. Okay, maybe next week, or maybe
I have
off.
some old business for the pod,
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about that next week when we record our May podcast episode.
Mhm.
Um, Instead, what we're going to do is I've been waiting to do this live on Twitch for a few weeks. I discovered online that there is a series of free codes for
Mhm.
Arena that you can redeem for booster packs that everyone can use once.
Oh, okay.
And I've used only one of them, and I think there's like 10 or 12 of them.
Nice.
And so I will do them, and then you can do them too,
Nice.
and we'll see what cards we get, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
And I texted you the link, so
Yes.
you'll know what the codes are. And we're gonna start if they work. If this doesn't work, I have a backup plan, but I don't want to use the backup plan because I actually want to do the backup plan for the next stream
Mhm.
in 2 weeks. You may or may
Sounds good.
not hear the air conditioning, which just kicked in. We had our first 100-degree day of the year here in Tucson on Thursday.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And so the air conditioning, however loud it is going to stay on. Uh, so I was about to say, um, was that a reaction to the sound kicking
Yeah.
on? Is it a little loud? I can bring it down.
It's maybe a little loud. It just mostly was so like it's so jingly.
Yeah. Um,
That's great. Yeah, that's good.
I'm going to start at the beginning of this list, and
Hmm.
since I have not dabbled in any play mode except for standard in
Hmm.
Arena. And so the cards that we're going to start. Do you understand how standard works? But by now, have you sort of picked that up? What the standard format means?
I mean, I guess I have in the sense that it's the only thing I know.
So
So I don't know what non-standard would be.
right. So basically, um, the definition of standard as a format in Magic is that the cards of the sets that came out in the last 2 years
Mhm.
are legal.
Oh,
Because to go back, the history of Magic is so long by now that there would be, thousands of unique
right. Yeah.
cards that would be legal if
Hmm.
you included the whole history. And so, in order to sort of try and keep the game balanced,
Hmm.
um, it's like, okay, we only have to account for like the past 2 years. And then anything else you can play in other non standard formats,
Okay.
like modern or historic, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
Um, so the first of the codes that I'm going to use is for a set that is old enough that it's not actually legal and standard anymore.
Oh, wow.
But supposedly this is going to work, and so why not look at the cards anyway?
Yeah.
The site that I am getting these codes from, you'll see if you look at the link, it has a list of the codes and
Hmm.
and the reward that each gives you, and then an expiration date. And most of the expiration dates say unknown, but with these
Okay.
older ones, it says July 1st, 2020, and then an asterisk.
Hmm.
And the asterisk is for a footnote that says this is the expiration date that they publicized, but as
Hmm.
of this writing, it still works.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not actually expired. So
Yeah.
let's try the earliest one and see whether it works. Play Ravnica. Redeem code success. Code
It
redeemed
worked.
successfully. So that gave me 3 packs from the Guilds of Ravnica set.
What was that about?
Um, so I'll tell you what I know, which is not much, which is that there were several.
I feel like I'm meeting you as a traveler and you're like, I've heard things.
This is a little outside my knowledge base,
Mm.
but I guess Ravnica is a plane. There were several sets in the Ravnica block. Guilds is one of them.
Oh,
And I guess
okay.
it's called guilds because it's sort of like you're very familiar with Strixhaven, and
Yes.
Strixhaven has its colleges, and each college
Hmm.
has a color identity. Well, uh, the guilds of Ravnica are sort of like the colleges, and each one has its color
Oh,
identity.
okay.
But did you know that some colors are allies and others are enemies?
Just in general?
Yeah, basically. So I'll tell you specifically how you can remember it. I've got some IRL magic
You have a
cards
mnemonic?
handy here. Well, it's I don't know. Is it a mnemonic still?
Every
If
good
it's
boy deserves
visual,
fudge.
it's a visual sort of.
I think it could still count as a mnemonic.
So it's actually printed on the back of every magic card.
Mm.
Um, the way that the colors are arranged here,
Oh my God. Okay.
um, blue and green are white's allies. Red and black are its
I see.
enemies.
Uh-huh.
And then you can go around and you know how to extrapolate from there.
But you can still make
Oh
decks
yeah,
like a white black deck.
absolutely. And in fact, this I think is the interesting thing to notice about Strixhaven.
Hmm.
There's in Strixhaven there's white black, that's Silverquill.
Hmm.
White red, that's Lorehold.
Right.
Blue red, that's Prismari,
Mm-hmm.
black green, that's Witherbloom,
Mm-hmm.
and green blue, that's Quandrix. They're all enemies.
Wow.
All the pairings, it's the 5 possible enemy color pairings
That's so interesting.
as
The
opposed to the
friends.
ally color pairings, which are more common in the
Mm-hmm.
history of the game. Um, I'm just trying to find where I picked up this card from because it's from a deck and it's important where it goes back to. Um, yeah, and I think that that's like in line with the flavor of Strixhaven,
Yeah, for sure.
because it's like, you know, the school for mages, and so it's some like advanced level magic. Therefore, uh, you know, use the enemy colors because that
Mm-hmm.
that implies some kind of a greater mastery. So in the guilds of Ravnica, I think what we'll see. Okay, so I think don't quote me on this,
Uh-huh.
but I think Guilds of Ravnica was a sequel to an earlier set.
Uh-huh.
I think the earlier set had the ally pairings, and the guild set had the enemy pairings,
Okay, that
which
makes
which
sense.
is why we're seeing here. Oh no, maybe it's a combination because I guess green and white is an ally pairing, but red
Mm-hmm.
and white is an enemy pairing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's a combination. Anyway, um, we've got an elf druid, green and white, and all these have other names. By the way, all the names have guilds, which basically
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
which basically means that like people have taken that to mean like, well, this color pairing has this name because it's the name of the.
Mm,
So like I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but I can remember a couple. Like Rakdos means black and red, I believe.
that's funny.
Um, so you might see some references to that. When this enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or an enchantment from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a order. That makes sense for green and white. Fresh faced recruit.
Aw.
As long as it's your turn, he has first strike. 2/1, not bad for a 2-drop. Here's a rogue, a human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, you surveil 2.
Wait, what's surveil?
Surveil, which I think you wouldn't have seen because this might be completely out of standard, or it might just be rare in standard
Uh-huh.
nowadays. Surveil is a lot like scrying, except instead of you can put it on the bottom of your library, you can put it
Oh,
into your graveyard.
okay.
Uh,
You can also just keep it there.
yeah, you can also put it back where it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Iron Shell Beetle. I think they've reprinted this. I think there's a version of this that is in standard.
Mm-hmm.
Or I might be thinking of a different beetle, actually. Yeah, I'm thinking of the one that this enters the battlefield and you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. I'm thinking of the card that at the beginning of combat it gets +1/+1 counter if you control another creature with power 4 or greater. I forget what that
Yes,
card is called, but I'm pretty
I
sure it's
remember that
a
card.
beetle. Here's Radical Idea, has an ability called Jumpstart, which means you can cast it from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its normal costs, and
Huh.
then you exile it, so you can't do that from the graveyard over and over again. You can just do it
Mm-hmm.
once. Rock Charger, bird. Whenever it attacks target attacking creature without flying, gains flying until end of turn. It's cute. It's like it's riding it.
It's very cute.
And the rare is Narcomoeba.
It's a jellyfish ghost.
It's an illusion. It's a 1/1 with flying. When it is put into your graveyard from your library, you may put it onto the battlefield. So I guess this
Mhm.
is sort of made to combo with surveilling.
Yeah.
'Cause that's one way to get something from your library straight to your graveyard. Okay, let's do another. I got Watcher in the Mist,
Ah!
Creepy Spirit,
I don't like it.
another one that you lets you surveil too. Mood Mark Painter has an Undergrowth ability, which checks the number of creature cards in your graveyard.
It just lets you know.
Well, it's so it goes on to say when this enters the battlefield, target creature gains menace and plus X plus 0 until end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard.
Ah,
So
that's
if
cool.
it's
I really like the art on this one.
yeah, so if the ability is going to have the text where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard, that's called Undergrowth.
Okay.
Skyline Scout, when it attacks, you may pay 1 and a white. If you do, it gains flying until end of turn. Okay, so it's sort of like a guy with a grappling hook, I guess. Elf Warrior, you can buff for a pretty high mana cost. Selective Snare, X and a blue, return X target creatures of the creature type of your choice to their owner's hand.
That's good if you have a lot of one type of creature.
Yeah, if you're going up against a tribal deck,
Yeah.
as they're called. Grappling Sundew, an 0/4 plant with Defender and Reach, and for a high cost, you can give it indestructible until end of turn.
Wow, with reach.
Oh, a wall with Reach is a good thing to have.
Yeah.
You love to see it. And I got a Mythic. Divine Visitation, an enchantment. If one or more creature tokens would be created under your control, that many 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance are created instead.
Wow.
I have a deck that this would go great in, but as I've said already, this is too old to be in standard, and so far I'm only playing standard because I am a standard man. Here's a counter spell called Devious Cover Up. Counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into the graveyard. You may shuffle up to 4 target cards from your graveyard into your library. Okay. Lockets. I have a lot of lockets. IRL. This is
That's cool.
yeah. I mean the cards, not actual lockets.
Yes, I understood.
Yeah. Basically, it would not surprise you to learn seeing what you see on this card. There's one of these for each color pairing, right?
That
So
makes
this is
sense,
the
yeah.
blue-black one. Here's a Vidalcan Mesmerist, 2/1. Whenever it attacks target creature and opponent controls, gets -2, -0 until end of turn. Pretty good.
That's cool.
Good for a common. Another Skyline Scout, maximize velocity. Another sorcery with Jumpstart. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Pretty nice. Gonna make us a little bigger. I mean, smaller here. That's just better. Here's the Chemister's Insight. An instant with
That's a
Jumpstart.
funny card. That art is funny.
Yeah, the art is interesting. And then the rare is Midnight Reaper. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, it deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card.
Wow.
Fun. Maybe good for like a vampire deck where you have plenty of life gain. And so.
Have you seen that? Because one of these cards you were saying is it when you can add power and toughness by using mana after you've already put the card down. Is that called a buff? Is that the word you keep saying?
Yeah, when I'm saying buff, that's like any reference to giving a creature greater power or greater toughness or both, but especially power.
There's this card called, it's like I forget what it's called. It's a green card and it's got a little sort of mousy looking creature on it.
Yeah.
and you can buff for like 5 and add like 3/3 to it. It's like a 2/2 card, and you can add 3/3 to it.
Hmm.
I played the other day with somebody who it had just been this really, really long, drawn out game. So we both had a bunch of land down.
Yeah.
And what I did not know was that they could do this multiple times.
Oh yes. Are you referring? Yeah, I think. Are you referring to the Almighty Brushwag? Is that
Yes.
yes? Yes, I know that card.
And then they destroyed me.
Of course.
It was very annoying. I was very annoyed.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a quick change to my video settings before we open a few packs from War of the Spark.
Yeah, which I've not seen before.
Yeah, so this is the second set we'll look at that is not in standard any longer. And the packs perhaps will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think part of the gimmick of War of the Spark was that every pack would have a planeswalker in it. And they, in order to make that true, they made some uncommon planeswalkers,
Mm.
which are literally not as powerful as your rares and your mythic rares. But yeah, I think War of the Spark was supposed to be this big event in like if you follow the lore
Mhm.
behind the cards, kind of like war between planeswalkers. Um, so it's possible that what I said about a planeswalker in every pack might be true in real life and not
But not in
not in
arena.
arena. Or maybe the rare is going to turn out to be a planeswalker. Here's Raging Crunch, my new favorite
Aw,
guy.
it needs
It
friends.
can attack alone.
It's
Uh,
me.
Trusted Pegasus.
Aw.
This is another case of okay. Clearly, the flavor is another one of your creatures is supposed to be riding this because
What an incredible horse.
yes, a magnificent horse,
Magnificent. That's the
As
word.
Zeus would say. Mana Geode, an artifact. Thunder Drake, an elemental.
Hmm.
Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Thunder Drake. Pretty cool. Return to Nature, classic card. They've reprinted this, I think, many times.
Mm.
Just to often when they reprint things, part of what they're doing is they're keeping it in standard, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
God Pharaoh's statue, legendary artifact, spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life.
Wow.
Brutal.
That's fun.
Jace's Triumph.
Oh,
Draw
it's that guy.
Yeah. So here's a Planeswalker connection. If you control a Jace Planeswalker, draw 3 cards instead of 2.
Mm.
And then, okay, so it's not a Planeswalker, but it is a mythic.
God,
It's a zombie god.
it looks cool as hell.
It's a 3/6 with double strike. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 4/4 black zombie warrior creature token with vigilance. When this dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into its owner's library, third from the top. So
Wow.
no one's ever really gone, as as we heard from Rise of Skywalker. Pack 3, I'm sorry, 2 from this set. Okay, so I'm not even familiar with Amass, so I'm going to learn what this is.
Yeah.
Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, Amass 1. Put a +1/+1 counter on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. Okay, so I guess this being War of the Spark, right? I guess part of the gimmick was that you are like a general with an army.
Uh-huh.
New Horizons is an aura, enchant land. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Enchanted land has tap to add 2 mana of any one color. Tithe Bearer Giant. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life.
You
Iron.
lose 10% of your life. I was making a joke. I was making a tithing joke.
Oh, I'm not familiar with the.
Do you know what tithing is?
Mm-mm.
Not even okay. I mean, I know you just said no, so I won't ask you again. This is something Kenny says I do that's annoying. So tithing is when you go to church and you're supposed to give them 10% of
Oh, sure.
all of the money you make.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm sure I knew that at one point, and just forgot it.
But that's why I said that it would be funny if it made you give 10% of your life.
I get it. That's good. That would be good flavor. That would be a flavor win. Here's Ironclad Kravod.
Cravad.
Krovod. Here's Soren's Thirst. Deals 2 damage to target creature and you gain 2 life. Some classic vampire stuff.
I just saw a bird on a stick, I mean a branch, rub its neck against the stick.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Huh.
It was so weird. It was like, it looked like a cat or something. Like when a cat rubs against your hand, except it was a bird and it was doing it to a stick.
Pretty cool.
Another zombie army.
Yeah, speaking of zombie armies, amass 1. And you and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Little instant. This card I definitely recognize and definitely. I think when I started playing Arena, this set was still in Standard.
Oh, okay.
And I remember seeing this plenty. Johnny's Pride made 2/2 Cat Soldier. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on a Johnny's Pride made. A card that is OP, in my opinion. Liz, are you still there? Having some technical difficulties here. Just gonna check to see that we're still live. Maybe we're not. Liz?
Okay, here I am.
Cool. Just doing a quick technical difficulties check on my end. Did you hear me say that a Johnny's Pride Mate is OP?
What does OP mean?
Overpowered.
Oh, yeah.
Too powerful. A very unfun one to try and compete against.
Yeah, I bet.
Let's see the rare. The Elder Spell.
Ooh.
Destroy any number of target planeswalkers. Choose a planeswalker you control. Put 2 loyalty counters on it for each planeswalker destroyed this way. So clearly, when they made this set, they had in mind that people would have a lot of planeswalkers to play with.
Yeah, wow.
Snare Spinner.
Love a spider.
Classic spider. Enforcer Griffin. Turret Ogre. When Turret Ogre enters the battlefield, if you control another creature with power 4 or greater, Turret Ogre deals 2 damage to each opponent. Davriel's Shadow Fugue. Target player discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Sarkhan's Catharsis deals 5.
Sarkhan's Catharsis.
Ermagerd.
What does this remind me of? I can't think of it, but there's another like funny, there's like a specific joke thing that has that same sort of like cadence and rhyminess.
Are you thinking of Coach Z?
No, I'm thinking of like
Ramrod?
No, it'll come to me maybe, or maybe not.
Here's Bolt Bend.
This it's a Zuko card.
Or Azula, maybe.
Or Azula.
This spell costs 3 less to cast if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. That's cool. I haven't seen that
Reveal
before.
this card, and then I have a little story to tell you about Avatar.
Oh, it's
Oh,
a
it's just the
rare
rare
wild
wild.
card.
So, I had the pleasure of getting to um meet with the poetry club of my 10th grade honors English student teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been teaching at Bishop McDevitt since he graduated, which was right after he was my student teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those funny things where, like, you know, he was like an adult at the time, but now we're like the same age.
Sure. Yeah.
Because he was like, you know, he's like 5 years older than I am.
Yeah, you aged and he didn't.
Yeah. And so I met with Zoom through his poetry club, and I read some poems, and I picked one of the poems I picked was Ashley Sugarnatch in the River, which is the poem that has the Avatar: The Last Airbender reference, where she says she stood in the middle of the water and wanted the electricity to like shock her, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read that poem and I said, have any of you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? And I've done this a couple of times when I've read this poem to see if anybody, because I feel like a bunch of people have watched the show,
Sure.
and nobody has ever been like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Will, the whole class, the whole club was
Cool.
like, yes.
Yeah.
It ruled.
That's awesome. That's really great. You love to see it. So while you're talking, I redeemed the code for 3 packs from Core Set 2020.
So these should still be standard, right?
Wrong.
Why?
2
years?
Yeah, I don't exactly know how that, but
Wrong. I can't tell you why though.
no, but if you looked at a graph of like what was standard and what is standard now,
yeah,
you would see that it's like it doesn't rotate every time a new set comes out. It rotates like once a year, and I'm not sure if it's based on the number of sets or if it's just based on like they, you know, Wizards of the Coast just decides what it is based on whatever cards they're taking out and putting in. But this is the most recent set that is no longer standard. The next one, which is Throne of Eldraine, is the oldest set that is currently in standard.
Okay.
Later this year in the fall, the standard window is going to shift.
Okay.
And Eldraine, Theros, and Ikoria are all going to be knocked out of standard simultaneously.
A bunch.
Yeah. So it's gonna really change the games that we play in Arena.
Yeah.
Because we only play standard. Okay, so 2020 gives us Healer of the Glade, an elemental. When it enters, you gain 3 life. Sage's Row Denizen. Whenever another blue creature enters the battlefield under your control, target player mills 2 cards. Good for a mill deck. This one they've clearly reprinted this because we still see this in standard today. Chandra's Outrage deals 4 damage to target creature and 2 damage to that creature's controller. Gravedigger is a zombie. When it enters, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
I'm excited to see this next one.
Fry. This looks like it could be from an unset. Have you heard me mention unsets at all? So they've done this several times in the history of Magic. It's called an unset because whatever the name of it is, it always starts with un.
Oh, okay.
So, like for example, unsanctioned is one of them. It's where they create a non-legal set of just joke cards. And this art looks like it could be from one of those. This spell can't be countered. It deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. That's white or blue.
Oh, that's
A
interesting.
real sideboard card.
Mhm.
And I got the Voracious Hydra. 0/1 with trample. It enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Has a casting cost of X and 2 green. When it enters the battlefield, choose one. Double the number of +1/+1 counters on it, or it fights target creature you don't control.
Nice.
Pretty good. Pack number 2.
By the way, I was watching a Drawfee episode where they were doing, I forget what they were doing, but they brought up cats.
Yeah.
Like they brought up cats as like they've done a lot of cats drawings before, but they brought it up like otherwise.
I think I watched this too. Was this they were making a lot of jokes about Andrew Lloyd Webber?
Yes.
Yeah. This was the like the zodiac sign.
That's what it was. Yes. Yeah. Yes. But did you hear that they brought up our good friend? I mean, he doesn't know that he's our good friend, but our good friend Paul.
Yes,
Tompkins.
I'd heard that name drop. Yes.
So have you been watching a little bit?
Yeah, I've watched a couple of episodes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now that you've watched a couple, I'm gonna send you my favorite one ever, which has this like twist at the end that is one of like Kenny and I were like crying. We were laughing so hard when the twist happened.
Cool. I'll check it out. Lavakin Brawler, Elemental Warrior. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1.
Why does this need clothing?
+0 until end of turn for each elemental you control.
What is that clothing made out of? Just make her all lava. What are you doing?
Too provocative.
It's gonna burn off.
You couldn't sell that to children. Feral Invocation is an aura with flash. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Murder, clearly this is reprinted a lot. Destroy target creature for 1 and 2 black. Bone Splinters.
Jesus. Oh my god.
This you can sell to children.
Fucking violent. Oh my god.
As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, destroy target creature for only 1 black. Stone Golem, just a straight up 4/4 artifact creature.
Yeah.
Fencing Ace, it's a human soldier with double strike, 1/1. Rapacious Dragon, 3/3 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 treasure tokens.
2, wow.
And the rare here, Hanged Executioner. I think I have this card in real life. 1/1 flying. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token flying. For 3 and a white and exile Hanged Executioner, you can exile target creature. I think I have that in a deck IRL. Clearly, when I'm building my decks IRL, I don't give very much consideration at all to what is currently standard and what is too old to be standard. So technically,
because you're just like playing with Dana or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. The only so technically, the format that we're playing in when we play with my decks IRL, I think is considered modern. In modern, you can use cards from any set going back to not the beginning, but like I think it goes back to 8th edition, which is pretty far.
Yeah, that sounds very far.
And of course, there are some specific cards that are banned
because they were too powerful.
They were truly OP. They were OP, not just in my eyes, but in the admin's eyes. Soul Salvage, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand.
Oh, that's a great one.
Leafkin Druid, 03. Tap to add 1 green, or if you control 4 or more creatures, add 2 green instead. Aerial Assault, destroy target tapped creature. You gain 1 life for each creature you control flying. Moat Piranhas, 3/3 with Defender. Oh, I get it. It has Defender because they're in a moat. That's cute.
That's very cute.
We already saw Gravedigger. Yarok's Wave Crasher, 4/4 elemental. When it enters the battlefield, return another creature you control to its owner's hand. Okay, that can be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Be more useful if it had flash, but that's still okay. Oh, okay, a legendary creature. For 5 and 3 black, it's an 8/8 with flying. For 1 black and pay 2 life, target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards.
Wow. I mean, this is an eighter, but still.
It's pretty
Also, can
powerful.
we talk about the phrase broker of blood?
Uh-huh.
It's like you take this incredibly boring word
Broker.
and then you just add of blood, and it's suddenly like, oh no.
Pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Okay, that's War of the Spark. Now we can get into some standard cards, some cards that I might actually use between now and September, when I think
Mm-hmm.
the window is going to shift, if I remember or understand correctly. So, play. This is, I don't know if you've noticed, but this is the best set in recent memory by far.
Oh, you think so?
Yes. Throne of Eldraine. This is, do you know what the flavor of Eldraine is?
Mm-mm.
This is the inspired by fairy tales
Ooh.
set.
Are there wolves?
Oh, sure. Okay, here's a special land called Dwarven Mine. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you already control 3 or more mountains. When it enters untapped, create this 1/1 creature token,
What a cutie.
and you
Look
can.
at him go. He's just like, gotta go to work.
Yep, he's working. He's working in the mines, mining whatever that red ore is. Here's Loch Thwain Gargoyle. It's an 0/3, and you can buff it for 4. You can basically bring it to life
Yeah.
by giving it flying and giving it some power.
Kenny started watching Gargoyles with Elliot recently.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that show?
Yeah, I remember Gargoyles.
It has
Gargoyles.
Jonathan Frakes in it,
Yeah.
who
What would I know
is
him from?
he's number one. He's Riker from Star Trek.
Okay, yeah.
But it also has, at least initially, Marina Sirtis in it, who is Deanna Troi from Star Trek.
Oh, huh, that's funny.
Who I'm not named after, but it feels like I am.
Yes. Deanna is the one part of your name that does not appear in your Zoom name right now. Silver Flame Ritual. So this set has Adamant. Maybe you've seen Adamant in some of your games.
I don't think
Basically, it's sort of like Kicker, but basically the card has an additional effect if you used enough of a certain color to pay the casting cost. So the normal casting cost of this is 3 and a white. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. However, Adamant, if at least 3 white mana was spent to cast this spell, creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty good. The other Gesundheit. The other thing that this set gave us, Gesundheit.
Sorry.
Okay, we know a lot about Strixhaven.
Yes.
We know that Strixhaven puts an emphasis on instants and sorceries.
Yes.
And we know that Strixhaven gave us the learn ability to basically increase the number of sorceries that you have access to in a given.
Yes.
So Eldraine did this better, in my opinion, by giving us adventures.
Yes, which I definitely do see adventures a lot. And I must be the adventure deck that I have.
Yes, everyone. Yeah, everybody if you play Arena enough, you have the pre-con decks that they give you, the pre-constructed decks. One of them is an adventure deck. It's green and white. This is an example of a card that might be in there. So the flavor being, which is so good, the flavor being that instead of just casting this creature, you can send this creature out on its adventure. When you cast the adventure instead of the creature goes into exile, where it is on an adventure, and then later you can cast it from exile as if it's returning from its adventure. So this is Silver Flame Squire, which is a 2/1, but you can cast the adventure, which is called On Alert, which is an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Untap it. I love it.
Yeah, and I've definitely run across the Silver Flame Squire quite a bit.
I love adventures. I'm going to be very sad when Eldraine is no longer in standard play. Would you excuse me for 1 second?
I do like that this guy has a cool silver flame.
It's the titular Silver Flame.
Yeah.
Okay, here's sorcery I love. This, I believe, made it into the Mystical Archive.
Flame the Firstborn.
Flame the
so
Firstborn.
It's Rumpelstiltskin.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
That's the fairy tale flavor behind this. Gain control of target creature with mana value 3 or less until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. So basically my favorite combo is I have a black and red deck where sort of the theme is sacrificing creatures and benefiting from it.
Right. Yeah. I'm very bad at that.
A great combo is taking control of an opponent's creature, even temporarily, and then before you lose control of it, sacrificing it. Which is always very fun when you get to pull it off. And it's pretty easy to do if you just use this and then you use like Village Rites, for example.
Can I tell you something that you'll be very proud of me for figuring out that I could do with my Witherbloom deck?
Go for it.
So I have a couple of different cards now that you well, I guess it's just the one. Maybe it's two. I have at least one card, which is Tend the Pests, and maybe another one that basically turns a card into a number of pest cards equal to the card's power.
Yep.
So there have been a few times where, so at the basic level, I was like, oh, this is actually really useful, specifically if I get a card that somebody uses like that, like, what is it called? Like water chain, not water chain. It's like the card where it puts a little water knot. There's water knot and there's another one that like puts it in a ball.
There's a capture sphere.
Capture sphere. There we go.
There's also Charmed Sleep, which does the same thing, I believe.
So with those, I basically was like, oh, this is great because now when I have Tend the Pests, I can just automatically then put it on this card.
Right.
And then it breaks it out of being stuck and then I can utilize it again. But a couple of times I've had people use sorceries or instants that would destroy one of my creatures, and I've been able to counter by using Tend the Pests, and then I get a bunch of pests out of it and my card doesn't go away. And oh, did I feel smart the first time I did that?
Yeah. I mean, the great thing about Arena, one great thing, is that the game knows all the rules.
Yes.
And so, and the game knows exactly when to give you
Prompt you.
priority is what it's called. Is like whenever you have the opportunity to hit that resolve button, you've been given priority. In other words, it's your turn to,
Do something.
react.
Yeah.
And when you're, not surprisingly, when you're playing in real life, stuff just kind of happens,
Yeah.
And so, like,
Yeah, because you aren't sitting there waiting basically to get consent for every move you make.
exactly, yeah. And for every phase, moving from one
Mm-hmm.
to the next. So a lot of times, say you have an instant and you want to play it on your opponent's turn. A lot of times, what will happen is that they'll say, like, okay, your go.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to say, okay, but end of your turn before I start mine.
Yes.
Here's what I do.
Yeah. I also very smartly figured out that with that overgrown arch
Hmm.
wall,
Yeah.
that one you can tap it to gain one life. So I can tap that right before the end of my turn or
Yeah.
the end of my opponent's turn.
Right.
Get a life. And a lot of my cards in that deck, if you get a life, it does something.
Right.
And then start my turn and
Yes.
it untaps right away and it rules.
Yeah, I think Witherbloom is the most like beginner friendly sort of like I'm not trying to undermine your education and what you've picked
No.
up, but I think that there are a lot of great combos in Witherbloom where
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of it's plain to see how these cards will work together. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yeah.
Um, and they're great combos too. I want to make sure, maybe you already know this. I want to make sure you do,
Mm-hmm.
because this is, in my opinion, this is not intuitive at
Okay.
all.
Uh-huh.
If if your opponent is attacking you with a creature and you block with that creature with a creature of your own,
Mm-hmm.
and then you use some ability or spell to sacrifice the creature you're blocking with,
Mm-hmm.
the block still happens.
Oh.
Yeah, like that, like once you block, that attack is blocked, whatever happens afterwards.
Wow. Okay. That's
You
good to know. Yeah,
uh
that's not intuitive at all.
no, no, it's not. So it's basically the same as what you were saying, where like they cast a spell to destroy one of your creatures and you sacrifice it before that destruction
Yeah.
can happen. You can do the same thing with blocking.
Okay.
You
That's
can
good to
block
know.
with something, you know that this is going to die in this combat,
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice it before the damage is done, and it's still as if you blocked.
I
What,
just saw a bee go into a little hole on the brick.
in your house?
Technically, it's my neighbor's
Oh,
brick, but
okay. Well, be glad that it's not getting into your home where your husband and child are.
oh, did I tell you we're moving?
No, you haven't told me, but I've inferred that from reading your tweets.
We got a townhouse to rent.
Congratulations.
A little bit north of here, but it's got 3 floors, and the third floor is the master bedroom.
Mm.
It's huge.
It sounds like I designed it in The Sims.
Yeah, basically. Um, but this is important for you to know because it'll be a lot easier to record in this house, assuming that the
Oh.
Wi-Fi isn't fucked up. But because the first floor is like a living room, a dining room, and the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go upstairs, and the second floor is like a bunch of closets, like multiple closets,
Mm-hmm.
and like the washer and dryer, a tiny room, which is going to be like the baby library, because most of the shelves that we have in the library are actually going to go in our giant room.
Mm-hmm.
And then what Elliot's room is, then you go up another set of stairs, and there's the master bedroom, which is huge. I mean, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a huge bathroom. It's got skylights. It's got 2 window seats for the windows.
Mm-hmm.
So in the winter, we'll be able to put all of our like plants.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if I'm on the third floor and Elliot's all the way downstairs, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. That's very exciting. I'm very happy about this news.
Me too.
I know how many ways you've been made miserable in your current housing situation. So,
Yeah, and I was saying to Kenny too, I was like, it wasn't bad the first 4 years, but this fifth year has really done us in.
you outstayed your welcome, hmm. Or overstayed, I guess is the
Yeah.
word, right? So you mentioned the adventure themed precon deck earlier that you're
Mhm.
familiar with, green and white. You also probably have a red and white precon deck, which is knights themed.
Yes.
Here is Sir Alan the Lion's Claw. He's a legendary creature. He's a human knight. He's a 4/4 with first strike. Whenever he attacks, other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn.
I've definitely fought against that guy before.
I have gone the best run that I've gone on competing against random strangers in
Mhm.
arena was using that red and white knights deck.
Nice.
Um, there's also it's knights are not exclusive to red and white. In real life, I have a red and white and black knights deck,
Ooh.
um, which is maybe not the smartest, but it's fun.
Uh-huh.
Um, okay, I know this card. I have this card.
This looks like it's straight out of Zelda.
It does, doesn't it? Um,
Like especially new Zelda.
I'm not really familiar with the fairy tale origin of this, but
Hmm.
Stonecoil Serpent is a 0/0 artifact creature with a casting cost of X. It, not surprisingly, enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. It has reach, it has trample, and it has protection from multicolored, which is kind of neat, partially because protection from goes back like all the way to the beginning of
Hmm.
Magic, but you don't really see it that often anymore. So it's kind of a neat treat when you do see it. Okay, I'm not familiar with this card, which is cool. True Love's Kiss. Exile target artifact or enchantment, draw a card.
I guess this is a good fairy tale card because it could reference like any number of things.
Yep, pretty funny. This is sort of like how Strixhaven, which is a school, has all sorts of cards like first day of class, semester's
Hmm.
end, academic probation,
Yeah.
expel. That's kind of a generic on theme. Um, okay, so I have a deck in real life where the theme is food, which is a lot of fun, in my opinion. This is a sorcery that gives you three. It basically gives you the three little pigs, right?
Yeah.
It gives
Wolf's Quarry. Oh my God. What a
Wolf.
good
Yeah,
card.
Wolf's Quarry creates 3/1/1 green boar creature tokens with when this creature dies, create a food token.
And the food token has some twisty bananas in there.
Yeah, and the food. Have you seen food tokens at all in
Yeah.
your? Yeah, so you know
I
what
have one that makes a pie. It
bake
destroys a creature and makes a pie.
bake into a pie. Yes, that
Yeah.
is that is from this set as well.
Yeah.
Um,
That one's so funny.
Fling is a reprinted card. I think this card is a lot of fun.
Mm.
As an additional cost, sacrifice a creature. Fling deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target,
Mm.
which is just a fun thing to picture. You just fling one of your creatures, killing it instantly. Flutterfox is a 2/2. It has flying if you control an artifact or enchantment.
Mm.
This is not a knight, but it's great for a knight's deck. It's a trebuchet. It's a 1/3 wall with defender and reach. You can tap it to deal 1 damage to each opponent, as if you are firing the trebuchet at them.
Yeah, that rules.
And whenever a knight enters the battlefield under your control, untap it. So you could tap it to do damage and then play a knight, and then it'll be
And then
untapped,
untap
and
it.
you could do it again, or you could keep it untapped so that you have it to block with on your opponent's
Mhm.
turn. Arcanist's Owl, you've
Which
probably...
this one comes up all the time.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you've seen this a bunch, as I have. You know what this does. And then here's another card which I have never seen in real life, and I just learned of this card's existence the other day, and I immediately put it into a deck. It's Pinocchio. It's Inquisitive Puppet. It's a 0/2 artifact creature. When it enters the battlefield, you scry 1, and then you can exile it to create a 1/1 white human creature token.
That's so
You
nice.
can turn it into a real boy.
I like how the human creature token that they have though is this like tall
Yeah,
woman.
it's just some lady.
Some lady going to market.
Yeah, it has to stand in for multiple humans.
I love that creature token though, because I imagine she's just like a lady or whatever going to the market. So I imagine, and she's like a 1/1. So I just imagine that like whenever she like has to fight, she just like a sucker punching somebody, like whamming them with her basket.
Yeah. And the rare, I don't know this card. This is interesting.
Ooh, Ventress.
Ventress Gargoyle, 1 and a blue, 5/4 artifact creature gargoyle. It has flying. It can't attack unless defending player has 7 or more cards in their graveyard, and it can't block unless you have 4 or more cards in hand. Tap, each player mills a card. That's pretty cool.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what I would do with this card, but I like it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, one more from my favorite set. Queen of Ice. So it's Elsa. As an adventure, Rage of Winter, tap target creature. It doesn't untap. Okay, we know what we're familiar with cards that do that. So 2/3. Whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, tap that creature. It doesn't untap. So it freezes your opponent's creature.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Foreboding Fruit. I don't think I know this one. Sorcery, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Adamant. If 3 black was cast, create a food token. Okay. So tiny. It's a flash enchant. It's an aura. Enchanted creature gets -2, -0. It gets -6, -0 instead, as long as its controller has 7 or more cards in their graveyard. So it's not going to remove your opponent's creature, but it's going to make them weaker.
Also, hypothetically, this little creature is even tinier than a tiny fairy.
It's so tiny. Yeah.
It's so tiny.
Even tiny to a fairy. Lash of Thorns, an instant. Target creature gets +2/+1 and gains death touch until end turn. Got a couple of wild cards. Here's a Red Knight. It has an adventure called Battle Display, which destroys target artifact. Creature itself is a 2/1. There is alternate art for this card, which is maybe my favorite art.
Really?
I've seen in any. It's stunning.
Can you bring it up?
Yeah. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Don't show my mail, please. Ember. Yeah. This is it.
Yeah, that's great. That's so good.
It's isn't it just like unlike anything?
You know what it reminds me of? And I
Mm.
know it's largely the color, but it still reminds, I mean, it reminds me of that white planet from Star Wars, from the
from,
eighth Star Wars
from
movie.
Last Jedi.
Um, where it's all white and then when they like touch it, it
It's
is
red
red.
underneath. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, this like ground being white with all the red reminds me so much of that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Good call.
That planet, I could honestly, I mean, I know we're going to be talking about this at some point, but I
Next
could
week.
honestly care less. I could not care less what's actually happening in that scene because I think the planet looks so cool. I'll just watch it over and over again.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't completely disagree. Okay, so there's a theme here. You might remember the last rare we saw was Vantress Gargoyle.
Right. Yeah. This
Here,
is the
here's
castle.
Castle Vantress. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island. You can tap it to add 1 blue, or for cost of 2 and 2 blue, and tapping this castle, you can scry 2. A rare blue non-basic land.
Mhm.
Kind of neat. Okay, so from Eldraine, do you know where we go next?
No.
We go to Theros.
Theros.
Do you know what the flavor of Theros is?
Um, Norse gods?
No, that was Kaldheim.
That's right. Some
Theros,
sort of god.
Theros is the sort of Greek mythology
Greek mythology. Okay.
based plane, and the name Beyond Death is a reference to. Are you familiar with the ability Escape? Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is the set that gave us Escape.
Yeah, because there was that one card that I was like, how the fuck do I use this?
Mm-hmm.
You had to explain it to me because I had it in my deck and I just could not be like, even in play, I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. So here's Karametra's Blessing.
This is a great card.
Yeah. So the other thing that this set gave us, and anytime I say that, it's totally possible that in the history of Magic this has happened before, but
Yeah.
Theros is the reason that I'm familiar with Escape and also with enchantment creatures,
Yes.
which I knew all along since I was a little kid playing Magic about artifact creatures, but enchantment creatures was a new concept
Yeah.
for me from this set. So if you cast this on an enchanted creature or an enchantment creature, it also gains hexproof and indestructible in addition to +2/+2. Triumphant Surge, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, and you gain 3 life. Grim Physician, 1/1 zombie. When it dies, target creature and opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn.
I like that guy's mask.
Pretty cool. Here's a Minotaur, which is an enchantment creature. There's another enchantment creature, a green one. Here's Reverent Hoplite. 1/2 human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens equal to your devotion to white. So another thing that Theros has is this concept of devotion. Your devotion to white is the number of planes symbols in the mana costs of the permanents you control added up. Warden of the Chained, 4/4, another Minotaur warrior.
I feel like I've definitely seen this card before.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty common to see this one.
Yeah.
I've used it a bunch. And then
Ooh.
here's an enchantment creature for a rare
Scary snake.
4/4 with lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, and then shuffle. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost one less to cast. So
Mhm.
you have some powerful creatures that have escape. This can be very useful for that reason. Pack number 2. Funeral rites, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, mill 2 cards. Rumbling Sentry enters the battlefield, scry 1.
So big.
When this enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an aura card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle.
Jesus
Here's an aura.
Christ.
When it enters the battlefield, target opponent discards 2 cards. An enchanted creature has lifelink. Here's another enchantment creature with lifelink. Whenever an enchanted creature dies, draw a card for each aura you controlled that was attached to it. Okay.
And very complicated. Seems like there's a lot has to happen.
Yeah. So clearly,
that's not related to this card.
Clearly, they want you to, use auras a lot when you're using these cards. Okay. Here's another Minotaur warrior.
Yeah.
He's the maze warden. He's doing what Minotaurs do best. He's a 3/4 for 1 colorless. He gets +1, -1 until end of turn. Whenever another creature becomes the target of an ability of a land you control named Labyrinth of Scophos, you may have Scophos Maze Warden fight that creature. So if you have this card, you better hope that you also have the Labyrinth that goes with it.
I saw a tweet that said, what is her name? It was how the person who figured out how to get out of the labyrinth figured it out. A thread.
Yes.
It was such a good joke.
Twitter humor. That's very good. And the rare is Phoenix of Ash, 2/2, flying in haste. For 2 and red, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and it has an escape cost, and it escapes with a +1/+1 counter on it. So classic Phoenix stuff, right? If a card is a type of Phoenix, clearly it's going to, rise from the ashes in one way or another. Final Theros pack. Pious Wayfarer. Okay, so here's another. So they love enchantments so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's this keyword called constellation, which means whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, blah, blah, blah. In this case, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
It is always funny to me, these people that are like pious whoever, but they'll still like kill someone.
Yeah. They're,
like this dude's got on a sack
mm-hmm.
and some sandals, and he's like, yeah, I'll murder.
He's still going to go into battle.
There's a bat that's attacking me. I'll just rip its head off.
He's there mostly to assist, but he'll battle if you tell him to.
Yeah.
Here's Heliod's Pilgrim. We saw this one already. Here's Black Beast with Blight Breath. Reminds me of the Broker of Blood, Blight Breath.
Yeah.
When it enters, target creature gets -X, where X is your devotion to black. Okay. It's a harpy. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
When it enters the battlefield, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard, which is neat and helpful because maybe they have something with escape in your graveyard, and then you're taking that away from them. Whenever Towering Wave Mystic deals damage, target player mills that many cards. Good for a mill deck.
Yeah.
Staggering Insight is an aura. Chained creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Very good for a white-blue situation.
Mhm.
Theros had
Saga. I love
sagas in it,
sagas.
just like Kaldheim, who would later
Mhm.
have sagas in it. This one is the Triumph of Anax. On turns 1, 2, and 3, until end of turn, target creature gains trample and gets +X/+0, where X is the number of lore counters on the Triumph of Anax. So it gets stronger every time.
Mm.
1 and then 2 and then 3. And then on turn 4, target creature you control fights up to one target creature you don't control.
Nice.
And the rare is a boar. Did you hear the
Just a
sound that it
boar.
made?
Yeah.
It made a big boar sound. It's a 10/6 for 3 and 2 green. All creatures able to block it do so whenever it becomes blocked by a creature. That creature's controller draws a card. So kind of a
Yeah.
win some, lose some balance kind of a
Situation.
card. Yeah. So I'm pretty. You can tell I love my Eldraine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty lukewarm on Theros.
Mm-hmm.
I'm straight up against this next set.
Really? How do you
I'm
feel about Theranos?
Theranos. I could take or leave. Um, the next one is Ikoria.
Yeah, why don't you like this one?
I'm not. I'm just not a fan of the theme of this one and the mechanics inside of it. Basically, I think it boils down to all you need to know is that this is the set that gave them the context for Godzilla tie-in cards.
Oh.
So the idea being that Ikoria is a plane populated by monsters, especially giant monsters like
Mm-hmm.
kaiju,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also populated by like boots on the ground humans who are like fighting for survival in this like monster world.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds kind of cool in theory, but how it is translated into magic cards,
Sounds kind of tiresome.
I think it's a little bit tiresome. And the main sort of gimmicky mechanic of Ikoria is mutate.
Oh, I hate
Me
mutate.
too. I don't like it.
I don't get it.
I
What
don't
is the purpose of it?
I don't like it. I don't like it
Is
either.
the idea that you just like lay cards on top of each other and like layer abilities essentially?
That's exactly, yeah.
I
That's the
still
idea.
hate it.
Yeah, no, I don't like it either. Um, kind of cool in theory. I get the flavor they were going for, but I just don't like it as a play mechanic.
As it actually plays.
But I love this little guy. He's
How
the
can you
thieving
not?
otter. Whenever
But he's not gonna mutate.
you could mutate him though. I mean,
Yeah, but
he doesn't have mutate, but you could add
he
it.
doesn't ask you to mutate him though.
No, leave that boy alone. Startling development.
Startling development.
They also brought back cycling for this set. So basically, you can cycle this card instead of playing it.
Mm.
Wilt also has cycling, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Here's another spell with cycling. Here's just a turtle. Channeled Force has an additional cost to cast this spell. Discard X cards. Target player draws X cards. Channeled Force deals X damage to up to one target creature or planeswalker. Okay. Weaponize the monsters is an enchantment. For 2 and sacrifice a creature. Weaponize the monsters deals 2 damage to any target. Okay. And here's the rare. An instant. Destroy target non-land permanent if it's a creature or if green-white was spent to cast this spell. No, thank you.
I like the art on that one though.
Yeah, interesting art. I'll give it that. Night Squad Commando. When it enters, if you attacked this turn, create a 1/1 token. Mutual Destruction. The spell has flash as long as you control a permanent with flash. As an additional cost, sacrifice a creature, destroy target creature. Maned Serval. The cat with vigilance.
Just a cool cat.
Here's an uncommon we
That's
just
cool.
saw. I like Glimmerbell. Glimmerbell is neat. It's an
It's so
elemental
cute.
jellyfish. It has flying, and you can untap it for 1 and a blue. I think I put this in the mono blue deck in Arena. Raider Sandworm has cycling 7/7 plus 7. Raider Sandworm can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Okay. General's Enforcer. Legendary humans you control have indestructible. For 2 and white and black, exile target card from a graveyard if it was a creature card. Create a 1/1 creature token. Okay. And the rare.
Fine, says Will.
So this is a cycle in Ikoria. Sort of one of the main things of Ikoria, which also makes it, I think, kind of unfriendly, is as opposed to those ally color pairings and those enemy color pairings we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Ikoria has these 3 color themes, basically. So there's a cycle of lands. This is the swamp forest island in the cycle. And there are these rares. I'm trying to remember the name of the cycle, but it's not coming to me now. Ultimatum, that's what it's called. So this is the Zagoth Triome. There's another spell. It's probably mythic, but maybe it's just rare. It's called Zagoth Ultimatum, and it costs, off the top of my head, I don't know what it costs, but it probably costs like 2 blue, 3 black, and 2 green, or something like that. And then it's probably a sorcery, and then it probably does like 20 different things, something like that. And there's like 5 or more of those. I don't. Anyway.
I was playing against someone who was using a deck that had mutate, and they kept mutating the same creature. So they had one creature and they kept mutating it. But I had so much stuff, I was just able to block this creature over and over until I finally just exiled it somehow and then won.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't like mutate.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna combine my creatures so that I have as few creatures as possible. Like
it's like, why?
Look who it is.
It's our buddy.
Speak and he shall appear, the almighty Brushwag.
I like how everyone seems like so like offended and impressed.
Yes, the art is very funny on this card.
Yeah. I do like this card.
We saw this one. Blood Curdle, destroy target creature, put a menace counter on target creature you control. So the other thing that...
Look, I'm the card. Because I've got the purple too.
That's great. It's really really good.
It's really accurate.
The other thing that Ikoria gave us is a lot of times spells, like an instant or a sorcery, they will give a creature an ability until end of turn, like Menace or Lifelink or Trample. What this introduced is that there is a type of counter for each of those abilities.
Okay.
So with this spell, you put a Menace counter on target creature you control, meaning as long as it has that counter on it, it has Menace permanently. Here's a dinosaur. So again, counters. This enters the battlefield with your choice of a
Mhm,
flying counter or a hexproof counter on it.
mhm.
Chittering Harvester, 4/6. Okay, here's a card with mutate. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature. And the rare is a legendary elk. So it's a 5/5.
From Princess Mononoke.
Okay, so companion is a whole thing. I'm not going to get into companion. I don't understand it. I'm just going to read what it says here. But I know at some point, I think it was post Ikoria, they like nerfed companions.
Mhm.
You understand what it is to nerf something?
Yeah, it's when you make it not as powerful.
Right. So I don't know what companion used to be, but here's what it is now. If your starting deck meets the companion's restriction, you may choose it to be your companion. So in this case, the restriction is no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. Once per game, you may pay 3 anytime you could cast a sorcery to put your chosen companion into your hand.
Okay, what does it mean has more than one of the same mana symbol in its mana cost?
No card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. So looking at the cards we have here, this has 1 black,
Huh.
but this has 2 green.
Oh, I see. So
So
that
this
one I
could not
couldn't
be in
put.
your deck because it
Wow.
has 2 of the same symbol, green.
Yeah.
But any one of these can.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
That seems complicated.
Seems overly complicated. Yes, I agree. So
Did you ever watch Rugrats as a kid?
yeah, I never loved it, but absolutely
I
I
liked it
watched.
a lot more when I was younger. Like now I rewatch Doug and I feel a great affection for it. I rewatch what Rugrats and I'm like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But there's an episode of Rugrats where the adults are all playing this board game
Mm-hmm.
and the rules of the board game are so complicated that they never actually start playing the board game because they're just setting up the game for the entire episode.
I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
It's a really that joke that they do where they're like reading the instructions
Yeah.
is so funny and was
Mhm.
like so funny to me as a kid, and like I have rewatched that
Yeah.
and it's like still very funny, and it reminds me of this.
That is funny. Yeah, I like that.
Kenny's parents couldn't get over Rugrats because the doctor's name that they always are going to for parenting advice is, do you remember his name?
No.
His name's Dr. Lipschitz.
Oh yeah,
which is a name, sure.
Yeah.
But the idea is that he's like full of shit, right? Like he's spewing shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that Rugrats got away with naming this like child psychologist that is clearly bullshit, Dr. Lipschitz,
Pretty
is
funny.
like Kenny's parents couldn't get over it. They would watch the show just for that, just for mentions of this man.
That's great. Okay, so we're moving on to Core 2021, which came out last year.
Super standard. So standard.
Portcullis Vine, Plant Wall, 0/3 Defender, 2 and tap, sacrifice a creature with Defender, draw a card. Okay. Here's an interesting card. Frantic Inventory, draw a card, then draw cards equal to the number of cards named Frantic Inventory in your graveyard. Much better to have this in Arena, where you can just make copies of it with wild cards, than in real life, where you actually have to obtain multiple copies. Staunch Shield Mate, 1/3 Dwarf Soldier, Defiant Strike. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn and draw a card. Okay, have you seen this card? I bet you have.
A million times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's so annoying.
Yeah. I don't. Yes.
But do you know what I always end up calling her? I'm sure you can guess. I'm just like, it's that damn Patricia woman again.
Patricia, yeah. Yes. Indulge. If I just hover.
What's a patrician?
If I just.
Yeah, cover it up.
It won't let me. It won't let me zoom. It fixes the zoom. So there's Indulging Patricia. Here's a dinosaur. You can sacrifice it to destroy target enchantment
I also hate the dinosaurs, by the way.
or artifact.
I
Yeah,
hate all of the dinosaurs.
yeah, I'm not big on dinosaurs. That's fair enough. And here's a spell. I think everyone has this one. I think it's in one of the precon decks.
Hmm.
Volcanic
I don't think I've seen this
Salvo.
one though.
The normal casting cost is 10 and 2 red, but it costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control.
Oh,
And it deals 6 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures and/or planeswalkers. Pack 2. Okay, another copy of that dinosaur. Shock, classic, always
very good.
reprinted Shock. Thrill of Possibility, also popular for reprints. Blood Glutton, the 4/3 vampire.
It's a vampire,
with
clearly.
lifelink. Yep, just a straight up vampire. Wishcoin Crab, just a 2/5 crab. Nothing to
Just
see
a cute,
here.
just like a little cutie.
Sure Strike. Target creature gets +3/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. There's our dinosaur, not so much friend again. Here's a Hydra. It enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. The casting cost is X green. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put onto another non-Hydra creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Wildwood Scourge. I have a deck in real life that this would go great in. And then the rare is Thieves Guild Enforcer.
Oh, yeah, she can enforce whatever she wants on me.
Yes, who is she, as the internet would say. 1/1 human rogue with flash for 1 black. Whenever Thieves Guild Enforcer or another rogue enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 2 cards. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, Thieves Guild Enforcer gets +2/+1 and head. I actually, so what I've done in the past several weeks is I've looked at all the pre-con decks that Arena gives you, and I've made my own modifications. And I've completed almost all of them except for the black-blue one. Do you know why?
Because it sucks.
Well, specifically, there's a reason why it sucks. It's because it's called Mutation Station. It's the Mutate deck.
Yes, I hate that one.
And I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And so
And it's got that stupid shark with arms.
Yes, don't like that. So I took all the I just gutted that deck and then left it an empty husk. And then what I'm looking for is I'm looking for cards like this, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because this is black. I'm looking for black-blue. And I'm looking for rogues specifically. So if I can get more black and or blue rogues, this will be perfect for what I want to do with black and blue.
Nice.
Finally, from 2021, an aura. When it enters, draw a card. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has trample. Radiant Fountain is a land that gives you life. Ranger's Guile. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof. Anointed Chorister. 1/1 with lifelink. You can buff for a pretty high cost later.
Also annoying.
Scorching Dragonfire.
Very annoying.
Pretty classic. Love this card.
It's cool.
2/2. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter. Nice. This, I do not like this. So one of the themes in Core 2021 was shrines. Enchantments that are called shrines. And they're basically not useful unless you have a lot of them, which is hard to do. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may draw X cards, where X is the number of shrines you control if you do discard a card. And the rare...
Oh, no!
I don't hate this. I have not seen this before. I have to say I like it.
Oh my God. I'm going to text Kenny right now to look at this art. This is his shit.
Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life.
Oh my God.
Round up each time. Okay. Cool, I guess. Whatever. I'm never going to use that card. Who would use that card? Okay. From that core set, we go to Zendikar Rising.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I'm mainly hoping to find some of those black-blue rogues I was
Right.
just talking about. So let's see if I get my wish. Not yet. 6/5 green beast, trample. When it enters, return up to 2 lands you control to their owner's hand. Artifact creature. Okay, so I bet you haven't seen too much of this. I'm curious to know if you have. So Zendikar Rising, the set that we're looking at now, introduced this mechanic called Party.
Yes. And I don't understand how it works. And I come into it occasionally.
So I'll try to explain. I think what's funny about this is that at the same time Zendikar Rising was the new set, they announced everything that would be coming for the next year.
Right.
And
Yeah.
part of that announcement was the D&D set that we're eagerly awaiting.
Yes.
And so at the same time Zendikar was new and the party mechanic was new, we knew, hey, there's a D&D theme set coming.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me just screams like, okay, you had this party idea and you couldn't just save it in your back pocket until you put out the D&D themed set.
Yeah.
Like that's so maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll bring it back. They haven't said one way
Yeah.
or the other if they're bringing back
When
party.
does the D&D set come out, by the way?
Early to mid July.
Okay. Because I've been, as you know, I've been sort of like just rampantly spending all my gold on packs, but I'll start saving up eventually. So
My plan is to keep buying Strixhaven packs up until the end of this month, and then throughout June, I'm going to save my gold for
good.
D&D
Okay,
packs.
I'll do the same.
So,
and what is the name of the D&D?
Adventures in the Forgotten Realm, which is why
Right.
I will just call it the D&D set.
AITFR.
Yes. So this creature is also a cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. And the reason that's useful is that there are cards in this set that reference your party and the number of creatures in your party.
And your party is the cards that you have in play.
The creatures you have in play.
Yeah.
But specifically, a party consists of one cleric, one rogue, one warrior, and one wizard. So if a card says, for example, blah, 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 X, where X is the number of creatures in your party, well, that can go up to 4. Now, what are you saying?
A turkey vulture just flew 4 feet away from me.
Whoa.
And it's still circling. I wonder if...
You might be about to die.
Did you see it?
Yes, I did catch a glimpse of it.
Yeah, it's still like, you can see it way in the distance now, but let me see if it comes back around for a second. I'm just going to hold this here because I do see it circling again.
Yeah.
But Will, it was right next to me, and those things are fucking huge.
Be very careful. It obviously thinks it has a meal.
Usually they just hang out by the dumpsters and are like scary as hell. Oh, here it comes. Nope. Wait. Yeah, here it comes. Okay. Oh no, now it's okay. Now it's going down. Okay. It's like circling, but like in a specific spot now. That was horrifying. Yesterday or earlier this week, because we have this red, I think it's a red-shouldered hawk, that will sit in some of the trees over here, and we see it like in the morning.
Mhm.
And I was in a meeting, sitting essentially in the same orientation, but just back there a little bit.
Yeah.
And I saw it dive bomb and kill a mouse.
Jesus.
Which I've never seen it do. I've seen it plenty of times flying around. I've seen other littler birds sort of like attack it a little bit. It's always like, what the fuck is this? But it was like I saw it and it just went. I mean, the thing was, is it like it fucking flung itself at the earth.
Yeah.
Which was like very weird to see, because like, hypothetically that's what a hawk does.
Mm-hmm.
But to see a hawk going straight towards the ground without stopping,
yeah,
I was like, whoa,
that's intense.
But I was in a meeting and started yelling. My boss Joe was like, are you okay?
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So we're learning what it means for you to do this outside, which is fine. I like a good thrill like that. So that was party in a nutshell, and we'll probably
get
back
and
to
that makes sense. Essentially, you're trying to collect, like, you're trying to fill a slot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Glacial Grasp is a tap target creature instant. Smite the Monstrous is a destroy a powerful creature. Subtle Strike, choose one or both, -1/-1, or a +1/+1 counter. Wind Rider Wizard, so here's a wizard for your party. Whenever you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. It's fine, but I'm looking for rogues, not wizards. Hey,
that's a good one, Will.
Okay, I got a rare rogue.
I mean, actually, I don't know if it's good, but it's in the category of what you want.
Let's find out how good it is. Nimble Trap Finder can't be blocked if you had another cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard enter the battlefield under your control this turn. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, creatures you control gain. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card until end of turn. Okay, so that's half what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. But also, I was not looking to create a full party deck. I was looking to create a rogues specific deck, but mm-hmm. maybe I'll adjust.
Yeah,
depending on what cards I get. Nissa's Zendikon is an enchant land, makes it into a creature that is still a land. Here's a cat with trample and landfall. So I guess this set also gave us landfall, which is
landfall is
brutal.
Something.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah. I've faced some brutal landfall decks. I'm not a fan. Might have Marasa.
I think I'd be a fan if I made my own landfall deck. But
well, that's it's the same thing with indulging Patricia. Like I love Patricia when I'm using that card, not when my opponent is.
Yeah.
So Kicker is the other thing that was reintroduced in Zendikar Rising. Are you familiar with Kicker?
No, I don't think I've encountered this.
This is an addition.
Is that a frog?
Yeah, so this is a frog that's getting bigger, I guess. A kicker cost is an additional cost that is optional. Bless you.
Okay.
So the standard cost of this is 1 and green. If you just pay 1 and green, target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. If you also pay 2 and green, not instead, but in addition, then you kick the spell. And if you kick it, that creature gains +5/+5 instead of +3/+3. So it kind of gives you options for like, okay, there's one way I'll use it if it's early in the game. There's another way I'll use it if it's later in the game. Here's a mouse with landfall. Creatures you control.
Very cute mouse.
Yeah, that's great.
This looks like a Pikachu cousin.
I love the environment that it's in.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a blue-black rogue. Interesting.
Hey.
1/3 flash and flying. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, rogues you control get +1/+0. Whenever 1 or more rogues you control attack, each opponent mills 2 cards. So this
Mm.
is something that I encountered, not this card specifically, but the sort of theme it's going for. I encountered this when I got Zendikar Rising in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I had no choice but to create a black and blue mill deck
Yes.
because I
Uh-huh.
just got too many cards that were on that theme. And I did try to use the full party spectrum when I
Mm-hmm.
built that deck. Uh, okay, so the other thing, so Zendikar and Kaldheim and Strixhaven are all in a block together,
Mm-hmm.
which means they're kind of made to work together, and they have certain things in common.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't like this. One of the things they have in common is they have the modal double-faced cards.
Right. Yeah, which you don't like.
I don't like. In Arena, they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
In real
You don't
life,
like him in real life.
yeah.
Did I tell you I was watching a Shuffle Master stream and Aaron explained why that happens? Why they curl?
Yes, yeah. I saw that too. I don't know if we ever talked about it.
It's because the materials like absorb moisture
Right.
in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was so interesting.
Which is why, uh, I mean, it's probably not helping that much, but why inside one of these where I keep my cards, I also have,
Some silica packs.
yeah, one of these.
Nice.
Try to absorb the moisture instead of the cards. Um, anyway, so here's a double face thing. It's a sorcery on one side and a land on the other. And it's a mythic. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them. Matter 3 or less, additional, blah, blah, blah. And the land, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. Okay, probably not going to use that in any of my decks. That's fine.
Serpentine Wood just has me singing Norwegian Wood to the Isn't it good? Serpentine Wood.
Sure. If you've watched a Zendikar or even some other Shuffle Master streams, you've probably seen him have fun with this card.
Yeah.
Here's a black rogue. As long as your opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, it gets +1/+0. It has menace. Cool.
That's a funny card. The art of that card's funny because I would not have been like, oh, it's a rogue. I would have been like, what is that horrifying creature that this card is?
No, you're meant to focus on the human that I guess is riding it. Tuck Tuck Rubble Fort. Angel Heart Protector, a white cleric. Here's another black rogue. Flash and flying, and when it enters, target opponent mills 2 cards. So I'm assuming you didn't have them. Did you ever see Sky Dancers as a kid? No.
Sky Dancers were these this toy.
Yeah, is it like a pull and yeah.
And they had plastic wings that would fold, and when you'd pull it, they'd go out, and then they'd like fly up. And it was so cool.
Yeah.
And you really needed a large field to play with them, which I did not.
Right. Yes. No, I'm familiar with that. I didn't know they were called Sky Dancers, though. So the other deck that I built when I bought Zendikar packs is I built a white and red warriors deck. So this is something that would go in there. A white human warrior, whenever it and at least one other warrior attack, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Here's a Geopede with a landfall ability, buffing it. And the rare is a white cleric. At the beginning of combat, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Not bad. But wait, there's more. Okay, so next should really be Kaldheim, but for whatever reason, try Kaladesh is the next on this list. Oh, right, Kaladesh Remastered. I forgot they did this. So they remastered an old set called Kaladesh.
I see.
And I think this is just the one pack, different from the other codes that gave us 3 packs. I don't know. I don't think this is usable in standard in arena. Wild Wanderer. Okay, this is a search for a land card. Something good if you have landfall triggered abilities. Not familiar with Fabricate. That's interesting. When this creature enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on it, or create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token.
That have we talked about Skyrim? I feel like we brought this up.
Yeah.
That this creature looks like the sort of like underground. There's like an underground part of Skyrim where the idea is that it's like sort of an Atlantis of sorts. Like it's this abandoned, forgotten elf, like different kind of elf kingdom where they had a bunch of technology. Very similar actually when to Zelda, both in I guess Skyward Sword and in Breath of the Wild, where the idea is that like there's this old culture that was somehow way more technologically advanced than we are. So they had a bunch of like robots, but that's what this looks like.
Right. Yeah. No, that tracks. This so I don't know much about Kaladesh, but I think that inventions are sort of a big part of the theming here.
Yeah.
And like workshops and stuff, which is I think the context that helps you understand the next card, which is Ruinous Gremlin. Can destroy a target artifact. Here's another card with Fabricate. Here's an Aura. Here's a sorcery that creates servos. There's an artifact creature. I'm not familiar with Improvise. Your artifacts can help you cast this spell. Each artifact you tap pays for 1.
Oh.
So inventions, artifacts, sort of one and the same. And yeah, speaking of artifact creatures, here's a construct. Whenever Scrap Trawler or another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return to your hand target artifact card in your graveyard with lesser mana value. Cool. All right, now I think we can go to Kaldheim, and then I'm almost out of codes because I already used the Strixhaven code in my free time before I realized that there were many more such codes and that I wanted to do this on stream. This is where it began for us, right?
Yeah, it is.
In Kaldheim. Frostpeak Yeti, Giant Ox. That's fun. Wings of the Cosmos. How would you say that? Hagi Mob?
Sure.
Hagi Mob?
I would say Hagi, and I'd probably be wrong.
Not worried about it. Battle Shield Warrior, the boast ability. Skemfar Shadow Sage, that's hard to say. When it enters the battlefield, choose one. Each opponent loses X life, where X is the greatest number of creatures you control that have the creature type in common, or you gain X life, where X is the great Beep, beep. Calamity Bearer. A giant berserker. Okay, so remember I said like, oh yeah, they're pointing me towards a blue-red giant deck that I have not bothered to build. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead.
Incredible.
Number 2. Okay, I'm familiar with Code Spell Cleric. Same with Struggle for Skemfar. Comus Faithful, I know this card well. Run Ashore, I haven't used this one, but I recognize it.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Got a couple of wild cards.
Wild cards.
Path to the World Tree. Here's a card that looks like I would never, ever use it.
Because it has too much text on it?
And because it has the, I think that in Magic circles, I think they call it Woobig, or no, Wu Wooburg,
Mm.
because blue and black both start with B, and so blue is abbreviated as U to
Mm.
distinguish it from black, which is B. So this, you can see down there, it has white, blue, black, red, green.
Mm-hmm.
Wooburg is how
Mm-hmm.
that is abbreviated. And I got a saga for a red-white deck. Exile the top 4 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Whenever
Mm.
you cast a spell this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay, so the blue, sorry, not blue. The red-white deck that I have in Arena is the Knights tribal deck.
Mm-hmm.
This is not specific to Knights, but it is good for a deck with a lot of creatures. So
Mm-hmm.
this might be useful in that deck.
I will say I really like sagas because something different happens each turn. So
Yeah.
whenever the sagas are like 3 turns of the same thing, I'm like, this is boring.
What a boring
This is
saga.
like why this is why I like it's the same reason why I like tapas and like sushi and sandwiches is I like to have a little bit of each thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sagas, they are the tapas of magic cards. Okay, so here's a vehicle called Funeral Longboat.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the Story Seeker.
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah, for a second I thought it said Stony Seeker. That's why I doubled back to it. But no, I had it right the first time. Vault Robber.
Mm-hmm.
Berg Strider.
That thing's cool as hell.
Snowland, Dual Land. Very provocative pose from this.
Yeah, it's a
giant
real
lizard.
real uh Black Widow pose.
I get Lady, I don't know how to say her name, Dimitrescu
Yeah.
vibes from this art.
I have a big problem remembering Black Widow's name because I want to say Scarlett Johansson. And so I'll say Scarlet and then be like, which? And
yeah.
I'm like, no.
No.
It's another color.
Mm-hmm.
It's very confusing.
Another color and a different word.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Another saga. This one, green, blue, means I'm probably not going to use it because my green blue deck is my Quandrix deck.
That shapeshifter art rules.
It doesn't not rule. Yeah.
I am desperate to see somebody cosplaying this specific token creature.
I like that. So you create this token, and then on turn 2, any number of target shapeshifter creatures you control have base power and toughness 4/4. Then on turn 3, choose up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. Each creature with power 4 or greater you control deals damage equal to its power to that permanent. Not bad, just not a card that I'm going to use.
Yeah.
So that brings us to, that was the last of the codes that I can redeem for packs. However, there are also a couple of codes that I haven't used, which give you experience.
Oh.
Which in turn can also give you packs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put in a couple of these and see if we get any Strixhaven packs to open. First code is Level Up. Okay, so I did get a Strixhaven pack from that.
Nice.
I believe I already used the code Restorative Burst, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Nope. Hey, I thought that you were saying birth.
Restorative Birth, yes. Not Mother's Day anymore, Liz. And then finally, Experimental Overload.
Overlord.
Okay, so I have 2 Strixhaven packs to open, and then I will be donezo. Well, I also got a Mastery Orb. Let's do that real quick. Mastery Tree. I want the. What I really want is the elephant avatar. But first, I need to get this. Thank you. Okay, back to packs. Here's what I'm hoping for. I already told you offline. I'm waiting to see if I get Dina Soul Steeper. If I do, and only if I do, then I'll build my own Witherbloom deck. But
Which I got her literally like the next time I opened a pack after
Yeah.
you said that. I didn't even know she was a card.
You got the luck that I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I'm looking for is some good Lorehold cards, because I really want to build a Lorehold deck in Arena. So I got Plum the Forbidden. Okay, you can sacrifice. Okay, I'm not going to put this in a Strixhaven thing, but I might have a different use for this. Sudden Breakthrough, that's fine. We love the Frog.
I love that card. I use it all the time.
Here's a Silver Quill Sorcery. Here's a Blue Flyer. Here's a woman on a crocodile.
How did you describe it the first time? It's like an ordinary crocodile.
Just regular alligator. Shock is my mystical archive card, and the rare. Okay, I will put this in my green blue deck. My Quandrix deck. That's good to have. Okay, this is good for a Lorehold deck. I might use that. I'm not using this. That's a Lorehold common. That's fine. I already have this. I'm not familiar with Hall Monitor. 1/1 Lizard Shaman.
I can hear this dude asking me where my hall pass is.
Yeah, this card's great. I haven't seen this one before.
Wow,
I really like it.
Hall pass, Elizabeth.
Well, he's not a turtle. He does kind of look turtley though.
I know, he's like a lizard.
Yeah, he's a lizard shaman.
Yeah, that's what a lizard sounds like.
I don't know.
Did you think my voice was too close to the
It sounded like you were talking
the lion turtle?
It sounded like you were talking in slow motion, like a turtle would. Oh, I got a mythic wild card. Okay, I'll take it.
Do you remember when they're called lion turtles, right? Do you remember when I was watching Avatar for the first time and you had already watched all of Avatar and I kept being like, they keep bringing up lion turtles. When do I get to see a lion turtle? And you were like, just wait.
I had forgotten about that, but
you were like, I brought it up to you a bunch of times because I thought it would look so cute. You were like, you just gotta, you were like, I cannot tell you. Yeah. I cannot tell you this information.
Yeah, no, you want to find out on your own. So I don't know how long you want to stay on for, but do you want to open some packs as well?
Could we play something? Could we play some?
Yeah, absolutely. We can skip.
I mean, I like opening past blah 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 blah. I like opening packs, but I want to play.
Yeah. Let's prioritize that. So,
do we want to play each other, or do we want to play randos and you can criticize me?
Oh, that's up to you. I thought we would play each other. But what are you in the mood for?
Can I play and have you watch?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can help me?
Yeah,
because I feel like I want that all of the time.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet. So
yeah,
let's try it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna reconnect to the server quick. By the way, we've been playing Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, new Pokemon Snap.
It's such a delight. It's so fun. I was like, God, why didn't they remake this game sooner? Like, why couldn't this have been like, Super Smash Brothers? Where there's just like a million of them, It's so fun. Elliot loves playing it, but he's very bad at it. So he, well, this is reconnecting. I'm just gonna go so I can show you, see what I'm doing. So he'll, when Pokemon Snap, you're on like a fixed track.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be going like this or whatever. Elliot will be like, oh, look at the stars. And he's just like this. And we're like, well, Elliot, look down. Look down. Okay. Oh, there's a Pokemon. Do you want to take a picture? I take a picture of this flower now. And we're like,
Yeah, he's more of a nature photographer than a wildlife photographer.
it's so funny. But yeah, Kenny and I have been having a ball playing it, and we'll play where we pass the controller back and forth and each do a round, which is fun too.
Nice.
But yeah, it is hard not to look up how to cheat.
Sure.
It's still loading, so I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Is it doing an update or?
No, it's not doing an update. It's just saying it's loading. You know what? It maybe is frozen. I'm gonna close it and just reopen it. Oh, wait, maybe not. Okay, we'll just be patient for another second. I'm sorry I didn't get this set up before now.
That's okay.
Okay, now it says it's loading again. Here we go. Okay, so let me share my screen.
Let's see that screen. Survey says.
Can you see it?
Yes, I see you have 2 daily challenges.
Yeah, I did not complete this one yesterday.
You have white or green and kill 25 of your opponent's creatures. Cool.
So I'm gonna play with my which I call Molder Grow.
That's fun.
But my Witherbloom deck. And you can see some of the updates I've made too.
Cool. Good luck. A problem I've been running into has been that I am so good at managing and my resources and stuff like that to a point where I haven't actually beaten the other person. And then I just have like no cards. And then they beat me. I have bad news for you. Your opponent is Amazeballs.
I know. The names are so bad. Okay, so this is a weird setup.
This is a bad opening hand.
Do you want me to mulligan this?
What's the casting cost on Sedgemoor Witch?
It's 3. I guess I'll do this.
That's not much better.
No, but I'm not going to do it again. Okay, and then what do I want to put back?
Definitely one of the black ones.
Oh, then sorry, I can't see my little. There we go. I've moved you. Well, yeah, I guess the Mage Hunter. I love this card though. Wait, why isn't it? Do I actually have to drag it all the way over there?
Yes.
That's annoying.
Click and drag.
That's not much better, says Will.
This is not looking good. I gotta be. I mean, either you are just having some bad luck, or
no, this is bad luck. Normally, I get much better. Usually I can put down a card, play a card, if not on the first turn, then the second turn, and I'm doing good. Okay, so this is just go ahead. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I guarantee he's about to play Gigantosaurus.
Yeah. I would love if I could get a fucking swamp card. I guess we'll have to see.
Remind me what Dragon Guard Elite's deal is?
Oh, so she whenever you cast a spell, you add a 1/1 counter to her. So she's really good if you can get her not to be destroyed right away, because you can build her up pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, none of this is useful to me.
Yeah.
So we'll just not attack. This really is not common. This is like, if I had one friggin' swamp card right now, I'd be doing so much better.
Or more than one, even.
Yeah.
You are being hamstrung by the shuffler.
God, what is this? Do you hear it?
I hear a bird.
No, okay, you don't hear it then. There's like either a plane or a helicopter, but I can't actually see it. Oh, it's a helicopter. We get, because we're so close to DC, we get a bunch of helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have almost certainly seen a helicopter that had President Trump on it back in the day,
Back in the
which
day.
is weird to think about, right? That's like a weird thing about being in DC,
Sure.
is that almost certainly you see the president just like fly over you at some point.
You're going to have
Well,
to
this
start
sucks.
discarding soon. Aren't you glad we're
Okay.
live for this game and also that this is being recorded for posterity?
Oh God, it's so embarrassing. That's not true. I'm rarely embarrassed by anything. And in fact, I'm so rarely embarrassed that when I am embarrassed, I don't know what to do with myself.
I think that's a common
I
symptom of
hate,
embarrassment.
I hate this card, this cute, cozy dinosaur. It's so annoying. I'm just gonna lose like immediately, aren't I?
Your world is about to get rocked by amaze balls.
Oh no. I got another dude who just had his email as the
Yeah,
username, by the way.
I have also seen that once.
Oh no. Come on.
You should concede now,
You just want me to give up?
don't you?
I mean, I always like to play to the end because I'm stubborn, but we're live, so I'll just give up. Okay, well, we're gonna try again, and we're gonna do a lot better this time.
Mm-hmm. I have found in the past several weeks I've gotten a little bit fixated on playing arena and playing my little games against random strangers to the point where you know how the daily win tracker goes up to
Mm-hmm.
15.
Mm-hmm.
I just decided, well, I need to see what happens. Um, and I had a miserable evening trying to get to 15 wins in
It's
a day.
impossible.
It's
It's
not.
impossible.
It's not impossible. I did do it. However,
I think I've done it one time.
I regretted it because I was like, this has not been
I
fun.
regretted
I've
it.
wasted a lot of time and just gotten angrier and angrier. But here's part of the reason why. Maybe you know this. I believe that, not surprisingly, I'm sure I'm the 1 millionth person to observe this. There are peak hours for this game,
Oh yeah.
and the more people are playing, the stronger competition there is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when I play like in the middle of a work day,
Mm-hmm.
I can usually clean up pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And when I play on the weekends, like you're doing now,
Mm-hmm.
or late at night, suddenly my competition, they have custom sleeves for their
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
I've seen competitors who, when I looked at their library, it like went up to here. Like clearly they have like 200 cards in their deck or
Yeah.
something like that. I'm like, oh, all right, the experts are out to play, so this is not going to be very fun.
I I had a similar, well, my brother mentioned a similar situation to me with Tetris 99,
Mm-hmm.
where he would play at night and like rule, like he'd do so good.
Yeah.
And if he played in the morning, like before work, I'm just gonna keep these because I feel confident in the pulls that I will get after this.
You got that wall, so you got a 1 drop, so that's a good
Yeah.
place to start.
um he was like, basically what he said is he was like, I don't know this for certain, but I looked up the time zones in like Japan and China.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it seemed like he was playing against people in Asia
Right.
in early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been when they would have been like done with work or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was why he decided.
That was when it was the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when it was the hardest.
So could you remind me what Deadly Brew does?
Deadly Brew sacrifices a creature. Each player sacrifices a creature. But if I don't have any creatures up, I don't have to sacrifice anything. I learned.
Yes.
Oh my god, this is an annoying card I've never seen before.
Yeah, we just pulled that.
Oh, we did?
In one of my Zendikar packs, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I need to resolve. Okay. Okay. And I almost just should have played Deadly Brew and like given up my wall to get rid of this thing. Because this thing's annoying as shit.
Yeah, but they choose what they sacrifice, right? So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I had done it before they had put down that other card,
right? Okay,
that was a mistake on my part. I didn't realize how annoying that card is because
right,
this
so
is also going very badly for
we
me.
got a lore hold situation going on here. Ash, whoever Ash is, Ash knows something about what they're doing.
I bet he has a lot of cards.
I bet Ash has a lot of cards. I bet you're right.
I bet he's collected maybe all of them.
Collect them all?
I think he's collected them all.
Gotta catch them all?
Ah, hey, here's our baby.
Yes, a card I have in real life, but not in Arena. I was saying to Dana, as I've said before, every Magic card printed, every copy should have a unique serial number, like a dollar bill. And I should be able to type that into Arena and then have that card in Arena.
Yeah. What do I think I'm going to play this guy right now.
Not bad.
I love this Mage Hunter card.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I loved it more. I would love it more if I wasn't up against 4 very solid cards.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Okay.
This is made somehow more brutal by the fact that it is mostly silent, because I don't know if you are hearing the game, but I'm not.
I'm not, no.
Okay.
And I guess I'd have to reshare my screen, but
It's
okay,
not a problem. It's just more despairing.
Okay, I'm gonna put this down. I wish I had another forest. That would make my life a lot easier, but
Yep.
How
do you feel about me putting something in the microwave and therefore?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna step away for.
You have to tell me what it is though.
It's a Trader Joe's Hatch chili mac and cheese.
Ooh. Yeah, go warm that up.
I'll be right back.
Okay, everyone, this selfless savior. Why do we do these? Why do we do this to dogs? Let's really hope I get like a forest card on the next pull, and then yeah. Yes, okay. Okay, so let's pass to blockers. Block this. And I guess I'll block this guy. Pass to damage. And I'm definitely going to lose, but that's besides the point because I'm learning. Ugh, gross. Great, another swamp card that I don't need. We'll play Dina.
How's it
Like
going?
this is gonna do anything to me. How's it going with you, Will?
Future's so bright, I gotta wear shades.
I'm not gonna attack because I'm just gonna try to elongate this game.
Good luck.
Oh, I did get rid of that. Oh, Shadow Spear, so annoying.
I've come back from worse than this.
I've lost from worse than that when I've been in this good of a position.
Mm-hmm.
It was very annoying. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm just gonna lose. Okay. Well, here we go. Yeah. Okay, and now I've lost.
That's unfortunate.
Okay, we're gonna do it again, and I'm gonna do good this time. You'll be so impressed with me.
Okay.
You'll be like, wow, Liz, you really did. You were right. You just got weird pulls twice in a row.
That happens. I've seen that happen. It's happened to me probably more often than the other thing that could happen. You're wondering what food I enjoyed during the stream earlier. It was an apricot scone.
Ooh. Purchased or created?
Both.
What do you mean?
Someone created it, and then Dana.
Yeah, but did you
Dana,
create it or did you purchase it?
And Dana purchased it.
I invented a cookie this week. Well, I didn't invent it. I constructed it.
All right.
So my friend Kathy told me that there's this bakery near here and they did this contest where you submitted the name of a cookie and with like a cookie idea name. And if they picked yours, they would make it. And the one that her sister-in-law and her sister-in-law's kid invented was a strawberry lemonade cookie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of recipes for this online, but they all looked like they kind of sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is good.
That looks good.
This is better.
We can work with that.
And so
I Twitch is a
okay,
great
good.
opening hand one drop.
It is. Also, it rules. This little guy rules.
Art rules. What it does rules.
And so I made a pink lemonade or a strawberry lemonade cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that what happens is you make a shortbread cookie, which is just butter, sugar, and flour, but you add in freeze-dried strawberries that you've pulverized into a powder and then sifted. And when you do this, it makes it like super, super strawberry tasting. So which one do you want me to pull?
I would say necrotic fumes, probably.
That's what I was gonna do. That makes me feel better. And I'm just gonna attack with this little bud. Yeah, so
You have to end
then
turn.
oh sorry. Then that was the cookie, and then I made just a glaze out of lemon juice, like straight lemon juice and powdered sugar.
Yeah.
But I did fully dip each cookie into the glaze. I didn't like drizzle it.
Okay.
Oh my God, Will, they were so good.
That sounds really good.
I was really, really pleased. I like fruit, of course, but I'm not a super big fruit dessert person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm more likely to go to like a caramel chocolate
Mm-hmm.
cream nut situation.
Okay, so he is tapped out, but you already clicked no blocks. So
And let me tell you why. What do you mean? Why did he give up? I won.
it went just the way that you. Um,
So the reason I didn't, let me tell you why the reason I didn't block
yeah,
with Dina.
yeah.
Because, and I know he ended up conceding, so it didn't matter. But let's say that had not happened. If he had had a card, oh, I guess, oh, I see what you're saying.
He's tapped out. All his lands are
That's
tapped.
what you meant.
So there's basically no chance. I mean, technically
That he's gonna buff up his thing. Because I
Right.
didn't want to lose Dina.
Right, of course, yes, and there's very much you have to watch out for those scenarios where like, oh, I would be falling into a trap by
I fall
blocking.
into a lot of traps,
Mhm.
Will.
Yeah. So you're familiar. You've learned that lesson the hard way.
Like how I learned what a mill deck was the hard way.
Right.
And I texted you.
Yes, I remember. But yeah, you know, you got to look for those lands. And if you see that they're all tapped, then there's probably no trap because they probably couldn't possibly play an instant.
Can I show you a plant really quick?
Of course.
So this is an herb called shiso.
Okay.
And do you see how it has sort of these like raggedy, jagged leaves?
Yeah.
So shiso is a Japanese herb, and it's sort of like minty and a little bit of like an anise. I get like anise undertones from it, but I got it because there was this like I got this book called Good Drinks by Julia Bainbridge, which are a bunch of sort of like fancy non-alcoholic drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was like a shiso spritz.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got it to make that because I have trouble finding shiso just like in the store. And when I did that, I Googled it. Oh, this is a really weird pull.
Yeah.
I've never gotten pulls this weird. Normally I just go with it and it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, this I will actually go with.
Okay. Good luck. I'm gonna take my mac and cheese out of the microwave. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. Will's getting his mac and cheese, but I feel very good about this. Oh, very good. Okay, so can't do anything yet, but next turn I'll be able to, and then it's gonna rule. I'm gonna look so good. Will's gonna be so impressed. Yeah. Attack me, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Okay. Ooh, even better. Okay. So I'm gonna put this guy down. Very good. Now, right now seems not super useful because I have to sacrifice creature. I'm gonna need creatures. This is true. But it will be useful when I use 10 the pests on it next turn.
Hello.
Hi.
Ooh, gotta tend those pests.
I know.
It's power, right?
Yeah.
So you'll get 11 of them.
It is. And I've been doing a really good job of like buffing up a creature and then using 10 the pests on it.
Yeah.
And there have been a couple of times like the Professor of Zoomancy card is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually use this I'll like buff this card and then just kill it.
Yeah, that's smart. I like that strategy.
Because it doesn't do anything otherwise. Like it creates a pest token, but it doesn't like it doesn't like give me like 1+1s or give me life or anything like that. So
Right, right.
Dragon's Approach.
Yeah, so that's one of those interesting cards where it helps to be in arena where you can make copies of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I don't remember exactly what Dragon's Approach does, but I think it says a deck can have any number of cards named Dragon's Approach in it.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't, cap at 4 the
Mm-hmm.
way, you know, everything does except for basic lands.
Yeah.
There's a fun little exception to that from the fairy tale set, Throne of Eldraine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a creature called Seven Dwarves, and I think it gets more powerful the more seven dwarves you have on the battlefield. And,
That's awesome.
and it also says, this is the reason I bring it up, it says a deck can have up to 7 cards named Seven Dwarves rather than just the normal cap of 4.
Trying to decide. Okay, so what would you do here? I have a bunch of things I can do.
Yeah, I see. But you only have one
I
forest.
I should probably play this actually
Yeah, yeah, that's a good call.
because that has menace. This card, I love this card because it has menace too.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna attack with everything.
This looks like it's going very well.
This is more like what my games are like.
Mm-hmm.
Not with me just like ruling, but like where at least it's a little bit more balanced initially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. So now I'm gonna play this card.
Mm.
And why?
Well, only because that's an instant.
Mm-hmm.
And so this card would be most useful when a creature is already in a situation where you can see it's going to die,
Oh,
but
I
you have a
see.
chance to play the instant before its death, resolves. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
Yeah.
Not to say you
Okay.
can't play it there, but
Oh, they've given up. They've decided that I'm too powerful.
very good. Very, very good.
Okay,
And
now I feel a little bit better about my deck.
you win some, you lose some, as they say.
Yeah, as they say. Do you want to watch me play another game, or do you want to play me, or do you want to watch me play another game so you can eat?
Why don't you do one more, and I'll eat during it.
Can I show you a cool thing that I got this as a kit at Giant and made it. It's a crystal grow kit, but here I'm gonna blow your mind on the camera.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that looks great.
Um, I it in the pack I got, it was so cheap. It first off, it was like you have to heat this on your stove in a pot that you'll never use for food again.
That's pretty intense.
Like I'm a damn chemist.
Mm-hmm.
And then oh, I got a pack I'll open
Level
then.
up. Very good.
But I'll play first. And then it said to add these crystals to the amount of water described on this chart, but there was no chart.
Oh no.
And when I went to their website, the only thing on their website was a recall notice from another product from like 2 years ago.
Oh, good.
So I just added like some water, what seemed like
Mm-hmm.
a reasonable amount of water,
Well,
which was like,
this seems like a great opening hand.
oh yeah, this is much better.
That's perfect.
Um, and I put it in here and nothing happened. They were like, it's gonna start growing the crystals like immediately, and nothing happened. And I let it sit there for days, and it was because I'd added so much water that it needed like significantly less water to evaporate. So I had actually gotten 2 of these, and so the second one, I I did the same thing, but I used like significantly less water.
Hmm.
And it started growing immediately. And I had it just like on this little, I had it on a tray and then I had it on a little plate. And it by within like an hour had grown onto the plate. And Kenny was like, we have to get rid of this.
That's funny.
Because Kenny was, of course, all weirded out by the fact that it had said that we couldn't use it in a cooking vessel. Because this is what I used.
Right.
I took aluminum foil
Hmm.
and I let's see. Okay. And I like fashioned a pot. Um, and then from there, not right now. From there, I like poured that very dangerously into whatever like container I was using.
Yeah, right.
El maga miado. What do you think that means? I'm assuming that means something in Spanish.
Um, the uh, the the
Mhm.
the evil mage. I don't actually know what it means.
They attacked my Sedgemoor witch.
Well, they had to pay 3 life to do it.
They did. It's what you get. Ugh, it's because of this. I hate this guy too. I hate him.
He's not as bad as I think it's called Savage Gorger. That's
Yes.
the one that flies
Oh,
and keeps getting stronger as you take damage.
yeah. Yeah, he's the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll play this guy. This would be more useful if I had my witch down, but I don't. I'll play this anyway. I'm gonna bring up you, and we're just gonna not attack for right now. Ugh, skeleton archer is also annoying.
It's going to take out your frog, which
I
buffs his
know,
vampire.
but that's okay. I can.
You still have a wall, and he is tapped out. You can block the strong guy.
I get confused sometimes.
Yeah, you have to pass the blockers first.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens.
My turn. Oh, great. I got my worm.
Bookworm.
Um, I'm no, I'll wait. I'm gonna oop. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna do this guy and draw a card and hope for something useful. Okay, that'll be useful next time. Or I suppose next time, because I'm definitely gonna play the Moldering Karak next. Do. Oh, not yet. Pass.
Close game.
Okay, so play you and go from here. Ugh.
It's no good.
Only I had mana that I could tend to the pests with that.
You hate to see it.
No, not yet. There we go. Okay, well, this is useful. Okay, so Just got to get rid of this guy.
Excuse me.
And play Dina.
Hmm. Is it a trap?
I know. 5.
Got all his lands untapped.
I know. I'm just gonna
Hope for the
do my
best.
best. Do my best. Nope, it was a trap. But hey, I still got rid of Malakar, which is what I was hoping for. So
That's not too terrible. Okay.
I am like holding on by a thread here.
You're in decent shape. I mean, he's in better shape, but
He's in better shape. It's true.
see, does he have another trap card for you?
No, he does not.
Apparently not. Okay, we're kind of getting somewhere.
I can at least attack.
Could tend the pests.
Yeah, I don't want to do that to my Wrangler right now, though.
Yeah, fair enough.
I get so nervous when I can see that they're looking at my cards.
Yeah.
I like that it's a feature, but it also makes me very nervous.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I will say it is pleasing to see.
I sort of like when I see that because that makes me think, okay, I'm not playing against a person who knows every card in the game automatically just on sight.
Yeah.
Like they have to read to know something about something.
I that was annoying. The thing I do like is when I put down a card and it's clear
You
that
could
I'm
tend the
about to
pests.
win. Oh, I could have. Well, I didn't though.
Oh well.
Why did you tap that?
Maybe he thought it might be useful for him to mill a card.
Yeah.
Game is not over yet.
It's not over yet, but soon probably.
Not over till it's over.
Well, well, well. What are you gonna do, my dude? My turn. Okay. Am I short 1 card? Ugh.
For Bookworm, yeah.
Should I tend to the pests?
I think you should attack first.
Okay, that's a good idea.
See what happens.
Okay, cool. I'll take it.
I would say maybe keep your tend to the pests in your back pocket as a useful instant.
Can you hear the ice cream man?
No, I don't believe so.
Ooh,
That's not good.
no. But he can't attack me yet. Okay, well, I can do this. And I'm gonna do this. But he's just gonna get me because it's a
Because it
flying
has
card and I have
flying,
nothing to block
you
with.
can't do anything about that.
That is the one weakness of this deck.
Yeah.
I mean, not the one weakness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it has a lot. But there's just like I have really no recourse if somebody has flying, like a bunch of flying cards.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to make sure you have some good basic removal. Do you have any like murders or?
I actually have a bunch of cards that I can use to like exile creatures.
Well, I guess there's necrotic fumes, right?
Yeah, I have a
So,
couple of other ones like that too.
mhm.
And that's what I basically have to do is
Yeah.
just like get them out of there.
Yeah, basically any deck needs that. Um,
Do you want to play against each other now?
yeah, I think I have time for one game, and
Yeah,
then
that sounds good.
unfortunately I have to get ready to go.
No, that's fine.
Well, you say it's fine, but uh, I will decide how fine it is. Um, okay, let me. You can stop sharing if you want.
Okay.
I will minimize.
God, my hair looks really good in this light.
Um, mm, Zoom is upsetting me. Are you still online? Because it doesn't look like you are from.
I am. It was taking a second to load. I can see you now. Do you want to send it to me or do you want me to send it to you?
Send it to me, please, because I don't see
Okay.
you online.
Challenge.
Did I get one? Not seeing it yet. Oh, now you're okay. Here we go.
Good.
So my daily challenge is to play red and white spells. So I'm going to play with the red-white Knights deck that I was speaking of earlier.
Nice. I'm just going to play with my same deck.
You don't say.
Well, I think I won like, 2 games with that damn Silver Quill deck.
Yeah.
But I am going to make a Quandrix deck because I know I have a bunch of Quandrix cards.
I'm going to keep these 7. This is kind of like
too.
You've been fighting your way through a dungeon and then I'm the final boss, which is flattering myself, but it's kind of like that.
You usually win though, so
we'll see. Here's the Venerable Knight.
I love this character. I love this like old lady knight.
Mm-hmm. She's venerable. Okay, what do we got? Let's do this. And I'll attack. I won't be able to block your menace creature anyway, so why not attack? Right. I was not able to take advantage of Venerable Knights whenever it dies ability, but what are you going to do? Them's the breaks sometimes. Okay. Whenever you cast an insert sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 life in game. Okay, I don't like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and banish that. That's how much I don't like it.
Can I tell you that actually has not given me like a great advantage?
Yeah. I maybe I'm going to regret using that on that card and not saving it for something else, but I guess time will tell. Okay, so first I'm going to play First Day of Class.
Why would you play that now? Because now you don't get to put a...
No, read it again.
Oh, on this turn, I see. Okay.
And then yeah, I'm gonna play this one.
I love this little weasel. He's so cute.
And then attack like so. No blocks, huh?
Hmm.
Well, what do you think of this?
Nothing.
I played
It's fine.
Boulder Rush.
Oh, this is annoying. Okay, well, we're still gonna do it.
No, thank you. That's fine. This is fine.
This is fine. Everything is
As
fine.
the dog says. Boo boo beep bop. Okay. First, I'm gonna play this guy.
Your knight.
And then I'm gonna play the lesson I learned.
Hmm.
And then attack. Excuse me.
Okay.
I will take the damage. Okay. Play Basri's Lieutenant. I put a +1/+1 counter on this creature.
Jesus. Okay.
And I attack with 2 attackers. Then with my remaining untapped lands, I activate this ability to buff my little goblin boy.
Okay, well, we'll do this.
Didn't I banish you already?
One of them, I have 2. That's useful.
Okay. Well, you're all tapped out. So I don't see what the harm is in doing this. I play Inspiring Veteran.
And now I'm just gonna lose.
I buff it. I buff it again.
Oh, good game, Will.
Good game, Liz. Better luck next time.
Yeah, this is a good deck. I knew that when you said you were going to do that deck, I was like, damn.
Yep, the knights take it again, as they so often do.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to stick around and play more, but I have to get ready to go to a pool party.
Yay! I'm so happy for
Because
you.
it is May 15th and I live in
Mhm.
the American
Arizona.
Southwest.
Yeah,
So until next time,
I'll see you soon.
see you next week when we record the podcast.
Mhm.
And then in 2 weeks, we will do something very much like this again.
Yes.
I can't wait.
I will. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.